Welcome back to the facility. New home, same squad. But speaking of new homes, Matthew Stafford, he might be looking for one. Word on the street, the Rams could move him. So now the question is the Steelers, they're looking for a quarterback potentially. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson might not be the guys. So should the Steelers, James Jones, go all in on Matthew Stafford?
No. They shouldn't go all in on Matthew Stafford. And I love Matthew Stafford, but they should not go all in. It is so many holes on that Steelers roster that they got to fill.
Yes, it is. True.
You got offensive linemen. You don't know what the running back situation is going to look like. Your number two wide receiver situation is a little shaky, too. I think because not only that, if they go all in on Matthew Stafford, it means you got probably going to have to give up some players, probably going to have to give up some picks. You're probably going to have to give up a lot. I think if you do that, I think you are setting yourself back from competing for a championship, giving up some players and some picks. I do not think they should go all in on Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Fame player, a heck of a football player, but all in on Matthew Stafford right now at this age and having to pay him a contract at the price he wants, I do not think the Pittsburgh Steelers could do that. Either sign Russell Wilson, see if you want Aaron Rodgers, get a quarterback like that that's in free agency already that you could get at a good price and build this football team.
Yeah, people don't realize, like, with Stafford, not only do you have to trade for him and give up trade compensation, you have to give him a legitimate deal. Yeah. 3-year, $150 million, something like that, $50 million a year is about what he's probably worth more than that. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. Should the Steelers do it? No. 2 reasons. The dude needs protection to be really good. The Steelers' offensive line is not that. That's the reason why they started Justin Fields while Russell Wilson's ankle was hurt. So he can run around, so he can buy time in the pocket. And even Russ was getting out of pocket. Stafford is a true pocket passer. Now he's a gunslinger. He's tough as nails. But I feel like he might get hurt behind that offensive line. And the other thing, what's crazy, and I didn't really realize it because I played with Stafford in 2020 when he was with Detroit. In his entire career, he's never, ever played on an outdoor team. Lions and Rams, both indoor teams. I think he needs to go to another indoor team. And who is the other indoor team out there?
No, don't Minnesota.
The Minnesota Vikings. KOC, Kevin O'Connell, the coach of the year, was his offensive coordinator during the year that the Rams won the Super Bowl. So I would not put it past Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings. One of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the game, Justin Jefferson, is there. I would not put it past him. Look, Stafford's 37 years old. You can get 2 or 3 more years at him if you don't love what J.J. McCarthy is. I don't know about their cap situation. If the Steelers do it, I think it's ridiculous. If the Vikings do it, I think it's awesome. I think it's going to come down to a 2-team race for Stafford. I think it's the Vikings, and I think it's the Rams going back there. And the reason why the Rams are doing this, right, they're offending Matthew Stafford a little bit is what I'm hearing because they're shopping him around. They're trying to gauge his value. Stafford was pissed last year that he didn't even get a deal till training camp was done. So the relationship isn't all hunky-dory like some people think it is. So there's a reason, right? And what Shady always says, where there's smoke, there's fire. Yeah. So to me, the Vikings make a lot of sense. To me, going back to the Rams make a lot of sense. But could you imagine the Vikings? If Kevin O'Connell can take Sam Darnold and do what he did, I think they won 14 games, or 14-3 this year. Think about what he can do with Matthew Stafford. Stafford can play till he's 40, man. He's got 2 or 3 more good years left.
So with the I know it's a topic is about the Steelers, but real quick, what about J.J. McCarthy though?
Yeah, you drafted him.
You know, it's like you drafted a first rounder, all right? He gets hurt,
like he chopped liver.
And he looked good in preseason.
He did. The one game.
Like, and then listen, man. Like,
do you trust?
If Kevin O'Connell could change Sam Darnold, I mean, God, you could do that. You can't do this with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
That shows some good flashes. I hate that for him. But anyway, the topic is
Steelers.
No, he shouldn't go to Steelers. We all can say that. No Steelers, right?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Don't.
I have no. I have no 2-5. But
right.
after listening to everybody, James, let me get a rock, big dog. After listening to everybody, I got to change my answer. The best kept secret, maybe in all of the NFL, is Mike Tomlin's inability to identify or develop a quality quarterback.
100%.
The best kept secret in the NFL. Because we praise Mike Tomlin, and rightfully so, I think 17 consecutive games seasons without a losing record. But Mike Tomlin cannot develop a quarterback, and Mike Tomlin cannot identify a quality quarterback. So Mike Tomlin, if you cannot develop or identify a quality quarterback because Ben Roethlisberger was not yours, he was Bill Cowher, if I'm not mistaken, then what you have to do is acquire a quarterback that's already a future Hall of Famer, because that's what you did with Big Ben. hence 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl win. So where I'm at, even though I have no on my paper after listening to Shady, listening to Chase, listening to James, the only way the Steelers can get where they want to go, I believe, is if they do, in fact, get Matthew Stafford, unless you suggest Russell Wilson can win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was not the issue with the Steelers last year at all. Russell Wilson was not the difference between the Steelers winning a Super Bowl and losing a Super Bowl. But I do believe that Matthew Stafford is probably a more talented quarterback if you're disregarding running, and I don't think Russ can run with the same proficiency without getting hurt. At least that's not what we see as of late. So, Tomlin, if you can't develop a quarterback, which you can't, because you saw the Mason Rudolphs and the Devlin Duck Hodges and all those quarterbacks, you're not pulling Kevin O'Connells with them. You're not pulling Kevin Stefanski's with them. You're not doing that. If you can't develop one, and if you can't identify one, then your hands are kind of stuck. You have to go get you a Matthew Stafford, or like you did a
Acho,
Russell.
Can I get that rug back?
Okay,
Can I get that rug
here,
back?
take that.
Give me his, 'cause
Oh,
he-
you want that?
he tripping.
Acho.
He tripping. Now, are we
Did we listen to what James said?
not forgetting the teams Big Ben was on? Not taking nothing away from Big Ben. Big Ben is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, Hall of Fame quarterback. But are we not forgetting those teams?
Great team.
Do we remember the James Harrison touchdown against the Cardinals and the way that defense? Do we not remember
Great
that?
teams.
All right, the defense that they took into Detroit with the bus and all. Are we not
great
forgetting
team.
those teams?
The bus.
Like, you're not gonna build them teams if you give all this stuff up for Matthew Stafford. That's my only thing. Matthew Stafford is not walking into one of those Steelers team if you go trade for him and give up picks and players.
They need too
You're
much.
not gonna have. They need too much. So that's what I'm saying.
They got one
I don't
weapon,
think
too.
trading for Matthew Stafford is the quarterback that's just gonna change all that with not a lot of talent around.
I think it
him.
would set their franchise back, to be honest.
That line is real,
The line
real
is
bad.
weak. The
So
line
I think
is weak.
if you're getting a super pocket quarterback that's really, really smart, reads well, throws the ball phenomenal, but he ain't really running nowhere. They need some help.
Yep.
That line was awful.
The question for me, I'm not disagreeing with y'all at all, but the question for me is this. If I'm Mike Tomlin, I can turn, and he has turned, undrafted players on defense into Super Bowl champs on defense. James Harrison, Ryan Clark's. He has turned undrafted players into like 5, 10-year starters on the defense. But what he has never done, Shady McCoy, ever done, is taken a undrafted quarterback or a mid-drafted quarterback and made him into a good quarterback. So, James, where I'm at is this: like, if I gotta make a miracle on a team, Tomlin can make a miracle on defense 2-5.
So what does
but
it
what
take?
Tomlin can't do is make a miracle at the quarterback.
What does
position.
it take?
to get Stafford?
What is it going to take?
Ooh, it's probably going to take
I don't know if he fetches a one.
two
but
twos.
Yeah, it's
Two
going to take
twos?
multiple twos. I
Probably
think.
multiple twos.
And then you got to
No
pay him.
players, just multiple twos. The Rams is going
I
to
think
say
so.
take multiple. Give me
Yeah, because Stafford wants the bread too.
He's got to
You
get
feel me?
150 million bucks.
Exactly. So the Rams are like,
what I mean?
not only are we going to get some, we don't
some
want to
free
pay
money.
Stafford.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly right.
So
Some
make
free
this
money.
make sense for me. You just told me he's a top 5 quarterback, and you're telling me
I
two
think so.
twos.
Yeah.
So
His age.
give me a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League that's going to go for
No,
two
you're
twos.
forgetting that they got to pay him 150 million.
They do gotta
So they're
pay
not
him.
going to give up more than that and then pay them.
yeah.
That's
You
that's
get
a
money
king's
off the books
ransom.
too, though.
That's really what
But
it
my
is.
thing is,
Yeah.
if I'm the Steelers, though, even if I do that, I don't think he's comfortable with the Steelers. They need help offensive line, and they need some
They do.
running
They
backs.
need some skill players.
And then another thing is, we keep acting like the Steelers' defense is the old defense. They're not.
They're not.
If you really watch them games, they was getting ran through. Choo-choo.
Correct.
So it's like, we need way more help than just Stafford. We need some help on defense. We need some help on the offensive line. A lot of help over there.
That's all true.
We need some more weapons. Stafford is, in my opinion, Stafford is a top 6 quarterback in this league. Phenomenal. He took the Eagles down to the wire.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he needs some help, man. And the Steelers don't have that help.
Answer this, though. Answer this. Because what I'm trying to convey to you 2-5 and really y'all at
Well,
home
keep trying.
is
Keep trying.
Mike Tomlin, Antonio Brown, was he a 6th-round pick? Y'all know better than me. You
Fifth.
play with a
Fifth.
6th-round
Yeah,
pick, right?
okay, well.
Antonio Brown, Mike Tomlin, he can develop receivers. Mike Wallace, he
Quarterback's
can develop
been his Achilles
receivers.
heel.
Bingo.
No doubt. It- without a doubt.
Juju Smith
Where-
had 1,400
a lot
yards.
of guys.
But where I'm going is this.
We landing at.
Where I'm going is this. Mike Tomlin can figure out the other positions. The position he's proven over 17 years to not be able to figure out is the one position he needs to
that's a good
acquire on
point.
Stafford.
Well, not a
Where
good
you're right at 2-5 is he needs some linemen. But Mike Tomlin has shown you, I can get you a Gilbert, I can get you a Pouncey, I can get you linemen. The one thing he can't do is Q.
So, Acho, if that's the case, because I think Mike Tomlin's still a great coach, right?
No doubt.
But all this stuff that you said he can do, why they ain't do it? I ain't seen no good lineman over there in a long time.
Yeah.
I ain't seen no good running backs over there in a long Why he ain't doing that? If he could do all this, and then on the defensive side, that's why I said I think it's time for Mike Tomlin to leave Pittsburgh because I think he's such a great coach. I don't want this to diminish with the great things he is and the great coach he is. Because when I watch the Steelers, I don't see none of that dog defense they used to have.
Yeah.
James was talking about all them guys on defense. I went to school in Pittsburgh when it was popping, when it was like that. And they were scary, okay? They're not scary no more. Every other team is going up and down the field on them.
Yeah.
Then for the offensive lineman, they can't block a soul. If you really,
They need more help.
That's why when people say anything about Russ, you know what I say to them? Oh, you didn't watch no tape on the Steelers. Oh, you didn't watch no film on the Steelers. What do you mean? Because if the first thing you're saying is Russell, you didn't watch the games. If you watch the games, Russell played well. They can't protect.
It's easy to point the finger at Russell the last
Can't protect.
turnovers, but he couldn't protect, and that defense was giving up.
What you think? And then real quick, Stafford, right? He can't scramble. He started getting hit a couple times. What you think he gonna start doing? I know.
They call it the chuck and duck.
And I think y'all tripping. I don't think the Rams give him up for 2 twos.
That might be fair.
They're not getting a one.
This man has took really
They're not gonna
two
get a one.
average Rams teams to the playoffs the last 2 years playing at a high level. Y'all talking about 2 twos?
With all type of
don't think
injuries
they'll get a
that
one.
he carried them.
Hey, well, speaking of being carried, the Lakers have been carried.